welcome to Our Time. We have a very unusual guest on this program. He's actually the youngest councillor in South Australia, possibly the world, but who knows. But because he's so young, I thought it would be nice to know what his parents think about him.
Ethan is an incredible young man who's achieved so much in his 22 years. He's one of the youngest members of the Gawler Council, and he puts in 100% when he's, dealing with council issues or council meetings. He listens to the community. He really respects what is needed and what's being, said by all. And he's just, incredible in what he does and, how he includes everybody. He's very inclusive in everything that he does.
And I think as parents, we couldn't be more proud of what he's achieved. Ever since he was a young man, he's always was focused on the community and how he could better the community that he lived in. And that's now grown into being a councillor, and he works every day very hard and trying to ensure that he supports the people that have elected him within the council. So again, we couldn't be more proud of Ethan and the things that he's achieved and the things that he will achieve in the future.
And here's the man himself, Ethan White.
Malcolm, thank you so much for having me.
You're a familiar face on community television.
I'm very fortunate to, have been involved with community TV for a few years now. I've produced a show called Off the Couch with Ethan, which is a travel show all about trying to get young people and their families off the couch.
And you won an award for it.
We did, yeah. We won Best Outdoor and Recreation Program at the Antenna Awards in 2023, which is very exciting. 2021, sorry, Malcolm.
Yes, 21.
Yes, yeah. Yes, so yeah, it's fantastic. Thank you for having me.
Because you're also up for an award again in 23, I think.
Yes, lucky to be nominated a few times. So look, we'll see what happens this year.
No, but what a great idea. But in the intro, I said you're the youngest councillor, but what's the other expression? You're the youngest?
Well, look, depends what you want to call me. I've been called lots of different things.
Not late for dinner, please.
No, exactly right. But look, I think very lucky that I'm sort of one of the youngest elected officials in South Australia at the moment. So
in the Gawler Council?
In the town of Gawler Council, exactly.
What makes a young man like you interested to be in a council? Because generally people see councillors as old people.
Well, that's a very good question, Mac, and I'm starting to think whether I'm losing my mind a little bit, if I'm perfectly honest.
Well, something's happened with your hair, I can tell you.
No, I just stuck it in an electrical socket before I got on.
Boom.
Look, I
didn't realise we'd do a double act.
Well, it's pretty good, isn't it? They're sure everyone's laughing along at home.
I hope so.
No, look, I am very fortunate to live in the Gawler community, and for anyone that does live in Gawler, they'll know how much...
Is here in South Australia?
Absolutely, yes. A community just north of the city of Adelaide, and we...
Which could have been the actual capital city in South Australia. Did you know that?
It is got a fascinating... Gawler has a fascinating history. Yeah, it's the only other town surveyed by Colonel Light in South Australia, and it's look, it was once the sort of first town that you got to if you rode your horse for a day from Adelaide, but has since then become almost an outer northern suburb. But something that everyone will know if you live in Gawler and visit Gawler is it's a very close-knit, unique community with lots of people from across the generations, from different backgrounds, different walks of life, and it really is a great community. I'm very proud to be part of it.
No, it's a great walk up the main street, in actual fact.
It is, yeah.
And it really is like a village that's fattened up a bit. That's a polite way to say it.
That's a pretty good way of putting it.
How much did you know about the workings of local council before you got involved?
To be honest, not much at all. I've always been interested in politics and government. How can we make positive change in this country? And knew that there was the three levels in government. But to be honest, and probably like a lot of people, I just thought local government dealt with the three R's: the roads, rates, and rubbish. Little did I know all the other amazing things local government can do and does, and actually how it works.
I suppose most people, you get your council rates and you think, oh, not this again. What are they doing with all this money I'm paying?
Yeah, look, I share that frustration, and it's no one likes paying money, especially not to government, and council rates are just sadly one of those things we have to pay every year or every quarter.
Yeah, but when you think about it, without a local government, we wouldn't have local facilities to the extent that we do.
Absolutely. And Malcolm, look, I think, you probably could name a few things that, that councils look after. They collect your bins, they, do your footpath out the front. But did you know local government does a whole bunch more? It, you've got the obvious stuff like the parks and sort of your outdoor facilities, but there's libraries that are in many of our communities, managing pets and animals that we have. They provide vaccines at immunisation clinics across the state as well. So councils actually do a broad range of things, a lot of things that really make all of our communities unique.
Perhaps they need you as a marketing manager. Not just a councillor, but marketing manager.
Well, look, I try to do my best. I see the sort of role as quite honoured to be in the role to help make decisions for our community, but I also see a huge role of elected members to actually be that conjugate between, what goes on in that sort of local government speak.
Quite. Well, you've got to be elected.
Well,
people have got to know who you are.
Yeah.
And you've got to be accessible. Mm-hmm. Are you accessible 24 hours a day? Is that what people expect of you?
I try to be accessible as much as I can. I won't say 24 hours a day because I, like everyone, hopefully get some sleep at 2 a.m.
But you also do actually have a day job.
I do, yes, yeah. So the wonderful part about local government, well, I think one of the really great parts about it is the way that the is set up is that elected members and councillors in particular can really do that role as a part-time role while working or studying full-time because all the meetings and formal proceedings happen after hours.
Yes, in the evening.
Yes.
Early evening.
So,
do you have pies afterwards? Drinks and pies?
I've
been to a few council meetings.
I'm very proud to say, Gawler Council, we don't have any ratepayer funded meals. The best we have is tea and coffee from the council facilities, but we all go down to the pub and support local businesses after the meeting. So we still socialise.
Well, you've had already such an interesting history because you're only 22 now?
Yep, that's correct.
So we've got some photos here, and one of them is because of your program on Channel 31 in Melbourne. Mm-hmm. You went over last year for the, what was it, the 30th?
Yeah, 30th year celebrations of community TV in Australia. So, Malcolm, you're a staple of community TV and in this country, and I think you know how important it is to connect communities.
Oh, very much so. We've got a shot of you actually there, this one.
There I am, yes. I didn't know what to do with my hands in that photo, Malcolm. I just sort of left them hanging.
Well, that's what they normally do.
Yeah, I guess so. Should have I gone thumbs up or something?
Well, you could have, or you could have pointed to, ta-da!
Yeah, that would have done the wiggles.
Yeah. Well, yes.
No, so look, I'm very proud of sort of my involvement in community TV, and it was really exciting to be able to go over and celebrate the 30th anniversary.
It's actually much more important than people realise. Here's a shot of you. Are you being a lollipop man? Now we're talking about council.
Yes, go back to council. It's funny because I think when people think of council, they often think of council workers and, working on the side of the road and potentially
so
maybe...
what are you doing in this shot?
Well, I'm telling everyone to go a bit slower at the Cancer Council Relay for Life. So the Relay for Life, fantastic event that raises funds for the Cancer Council. And I was... tried my very best to convince the elected members of the town of Gawler and some staff to put a team in. And we were this year, earlier in the year. And look, it was a lot of fun, but if you can imagine a group of elected members running around an oval.
Not 22, are they?
Well, no,
all 22.
I was absolutely proud of the whole team. We all, look, I think it was pretty skeleton
you've got
crew.
the politician talk going here.
No, call me out on it, Malcolm. Call me out. It was good fun, though. It was good fun.
Well, this one, you're obviously making a speech.
Yeah, I think one of the sort of things I'm proudest of, you get the great honour to speak to your community, to other people and represent your community. And I always, it's something I don't take lightly, and to try and listen to what people believe in our community and then try and share that with others is a huge part of what I try and do in the role.
Oh, I suppose being in these positions, you get to meet people like this.
Yeah, this is with the Governor of South Australia, Francis Adamson. Look, yeah, it's a huge privilege to be in the role, and I think when...
Was she impressed with you being the age that you are and being elected too?
I think she was probably a little bit surprised maybe when I was introduced as a councillor. Look, it's a great honour to be able to... You meet so many amazing people, as you do, Malcolm, speaking to so many wonderful South Australians, and sort of like I was saying before, to be able to represent your community's interest to some key stakeholders and have that opportunity to meet with people like the governor is, it's a huge honour, and I really, you're quite proud to do it.
Well, what about this? Now, that's surely not the councillors who decided this day to play a game of cricket.
That is correct. So, look, any of my mates or anyone that knows me well will tell you that I'm not a cricketer.
You're third from the left.
I'm third from the left there, exactly, in the red cap.
The tallest, I suspect.
Yeah, I might be right
You've
there.
got long legs.
Yes. So, not so good for a batsman, but
Now,
look.
come on, tell us, how many runs did you make?
Well, I was impressed with myself because I didn't get out for a duck. So I got 4 runs, so that's good. And this was for a charity cricket match called the Hope Cup, which is organised by the Salvation Army in Gawler and the Gawler Police, and a team of sort of Gawler business owners and local people go up against the Gawler Police every year. And it's a great match that raises money for people sleeping rough in Gawler, and get some really positive outcomes from that match.
You see, now you've dropped a whole lot of different things that council's involved that we've probably never thought about before.
Yeah.
But you need people like you with the inspiration or the drive to do it. We're going to come back in a moment and we'll talk a lot more with this very clever and intelligent young man. Where is he? Where did he go?
Over here, Malcolm.
Oh, sorry. It's you. And welcome back to our time. My very special guest is Ethan White.
Malcolm.
With the curly hair. Is that natural?
It is.
What a great head of hair you've got.
Thank you. I'll say the same to you,
No,
Malcolm.
for someone who's losing it.
Oh, don't be silly. No.
'Cause, I'm only 25 and it's slowly going. Ethan, being a member of council and having this drive, first of all, for the television program you made, because your family went on holidays when you were quite young. Mm-hmm. Who had the camera?
It was me mainly.
How old were you?
I was 15 when we sort of started. I think I think Dad was a photographer, and that might have been where the love of sort of cameras came from. But I think
you were presenting on the show as well.
Yeah, so it was a bit of a one-man act in a way.
Did you have to turn the camera on and rush around?
That's exactly right. The tripod became my best friend. But yeah, look, I think it was the love of storytelling through film that really, I think it's such a powerful way to share stories, and the visuals and audios that you can get to a massive audience. I think film and TV is an awesome way.
You're still planning to continue to do this, but obviously having a job working for the History Trust. What do you do for the History Trust?
So I'm the digital content producer at the History Trust of South Australia. So I'm very lucky I get to do what I love, which is share stories through film, and a lot with the education side of things. So a lot for teachers and students, teaching them about South Australia's history and our stories, which are fascinating. And I think we need to learn more about particularly young people, and we can learn so much from the past. And it is interesting. It is really exciting and engaging. We just have to tell it in that sort of way.
Well, that was in the month of May. Mm-hmm. And obviously that will continue next year in the month of May again.
Absolutely.
And there's so many events on. Have you been going crazy into collating all of that information?
Yeah, absolutely. Look, it's the History Trust South Australia does so many wonderful things in this state, and it's funny because sometimes a lot of people don't know exactly what the History Trust does, but if you've been to the Bay to Birdwood, which is a fantastic motoring event, South Australia's History Festival, you might have visited the Maritime Museum at Port Adelaide. Even when you're a student at school or you've gone back there recently with your kids or grandkids, it's a great place, and we do so much, and we do have an important story to tell. This great state has.
So you finished school when?
2020.
Okay.
Yes, 5 years ago.
Yes. You, at school, did you specialise in anything particular subject-wise? I mean, were you working towards this then? Were you interested in politics then?
To be honest, I think I've always had an interest in making positive change. Politics is always, of course, an important way we do that. I don't know if it's been my forte completely. I think my political career could end at local government, but we'll see. I think media side of stuff I really enjoyed, but the great overlap is when when you're able to share stories from people, you've got to get to know the people. You've got to understand what their challenges are, the issues they face, and through local government, not only can you understand people's concerns that live right in your community, but you're actually in a position to help them fix that.
Yes, but you're also a very young man dealing with young people's issues, because I guess if you're an older person, you think, what do the young people know? But your education coming into a digital world, to the extent that you have been basically brought up in, you can see things differently to perhaps older people who are either involved with politics, councils, or just generally. How has that affected you, being young and sort of seeing kids in your age group having issues that councils could fix?
Yeah, it's a really good question. I think we, as younger people, we can learn a lot from older people, and I think vice versa as well.
Trust.
Yeah, absolutely. Look, it's. I think the issues that young people face today are hugely different to whatever's been faced in the past, but that's natural. It's something that's always happened with the next generation that's come through. I think for me, the important part is that together we can all embrace some of those challenges and work towards solving them. I think the great part about government and local government in particular is if we have young people that are actively involved in decision-making bodies, so whether it's young people elected to council, whether it's young people engaged with the decisions that are being made, diversity in decision-making always leads to a better outcome. So if we can get young people involved at whatever capacity they can, as well as people from all generations and all different backgrounds, I just think the decisions and the outcomes for our community will be so much better. And the great part about local government is it is so accessible. It's, state and federal governments are there too, but local government is in your backyard. You probably second-handly know a councillor in your area or, because they live in your community. So they are accessible, and we do want to listen and we do want to hear from you.
Do you find it frustrating, for example, at a meeting where there are multiple shades of arguments of different things and cutting through the I think this and I think that? Do you find that frustrating?
Yeah, I do. I think for me, the thing I always think about in council meetings, whatever you're at, is that the community put you here and you're here to represent them. You don't have
you've got to listen to everything.
Absolutely. You don't, and that's not for a second to say you have to agree with what everyone says.
No, sure.
But it's important.
That's what I mean, actually.
Yeah. It's important though to listen to everyone in your community and understand what's important to them. That'll then inform your decision. And as an elected member, you're in a tricky spot because you have to weigh the needs of the community and what people expect of you, with also like the practicalities of sort of basically being on the board of directors of a business. So, sometimes, if it was up to me, we wouldn't have any rates at all, but we couldn't function without them. So you've got to kind of find, well, what's the best case scenario? And for me, that's community wants as little rates as possible, but we also know we have to have rates to function. So let's try and get them as low as we possibly can for our community while also maintaining the service level that they expect. So that's just one example, I think, of sort of the role I see a councillor as.
Are councillors paid?
They are. Yes, we are. Yes, yep. So I'm not retiring tomorrow, Malcolm, but depending on the size of...
I'm not looking to move to right.
We are, but depending on the size of the council, would depend on what members are compensated for, but like I sort of said earlier, the great part about local government is as a councillor, I can actually be part of the community, have a day job, study, work, while also representing the community in the evening at council meetings. And for us, that's every Tuesday night, and we normally have a meeting in one shape or form. I think it's important you've got to, compensate people for their time to encourage them to be involved, while also, of course, making sure that the people are there as a privilege. You're not there to...
So does that give you time for a private life?
Not really, to be honest.
Have you found, though, that it's stimulating enough to be involved in all of the areas that you're involved?
I do, and I think I've had a really strong drive to try and do my best. I think particularly in Gawler, the Gawler community has given so much to me. They really supported me when starting on community TV, supported me in so many ways, and I thought, well, this isn't a wonderful opportunity to try and give back to the community that gave so much to me. But in the same breath, we're all human, and for everyone that is busy, and we're all busy in this busy world, I think it's so important to take time to look after yourself,
Yeah,
spend time with your friends and family.
Well, you post quite a bit on Facebook of things that are happening.
Mm-hmm.
Has that been good for you? Has that worked for you? Because the conversation now is that those social media sites are not doing what they used to do because they're full of ads rather than, real news.
It's hard. Social media is an incredibly powerful tool, and for a lot of people in my generation, that is the number one way we get news. We get updated on what's going on and what we're interested in and what we're not interested in as well. So look, it sometimes feels like a huge uphill battle, but with council, I try my best to create engaging post videos to try and inform the community and young people in particular what's going on in Gawler and how they can actually have their voice heard.
Has it worked for you?
I think so. I think, it's always...
Well, I've noticed it. I barely look at it.
Oh, well, no, thank you. It's look, it's always trying to experiment.
That's why I'm talking to you now, quite frankly.
Well, thank you. Yeah,
I saw you on social media.
Yeah, thank you.
I mean, I've talked to you before, but this is different because you weren't a councillor then.
No, yes.
You said a little while ago maybe you're only going to do one term. What would excite you to stay?
I don't know yet. I've got about 18 months left of this term, so I think we'll get through that and see what happens. I mean, it is a huge honour and a privilege to be part of the community and represent them. I think it is, government is one of those things where we're constantly changing, and at times that might feel frustrating, but I think that for me to represent Gawler is amazing, and I want to do the best I can while I'm here.
Sure.
Whatever comes next.
But you've still got a life to live after this too, whatever happens.
Well,
although some people stay in council for years because they're proactive enough for people to. Oh, well, they're doing a good job.
That is true.
What do you feel you've achieved in your time so far?
I think probably what I'm most proud of is the advocacy side of actually getting more young people involved in local government. We've got a youth advisory committee now in the town of Gawler, so they directly feed information from young people straight up to the chamber for us to decide and hear their recommendations, which is amazing. And also, we've done a fair bit of work listening to people's concerns and advocating on some social challenges and issues. So we've recently instigated that we'll have free period products in the council-owned facilities bathrooms for people to use, which, for me as a male, that's something
You're not going to use them.
Well, I'm not going to use them, no, Malcolm. But that's something that maybe I personally haven't ever considered. But when when a member of the community comes to you and says, "This is an issue that's hugely important to me. What can you do about it?" And you can do something about it. I'm pretty proud.
Well, look, we've got to take a short break.
We better do that.
Understand TV, and we'll be back with Ethan with more to talk about in just a tick. Welcome back to our time. Our guest is Ethan White, who's the youngest councillor in possibly the world. Wouldn't that be funny if that were true?
Well, yeah, we'll just never know, will we?
But you're really a walking advertisement for somebody in your age group to actually seize all of that by the horns, so to speak, and go with it. Yeah. How can other young people become involved?
Well,
do you feel?
Look, I think democracy in itself relies on people getting involved, and the great part about local government is there's so many ways, so many accessible ways that you can get involved. As a young person, as anyone in your community, look, if you've got a concern, if there's something in your community that you go, I think I could improve on this. Now, it could be something as simple as you walk your dog every night and the paver and the footpath is sticking up and you just go, why can't someone do something about that?
Yep.
Or it could be, actually, there's this really big social issue that the world's facing. I wonder what we can do, even if it's just our little part here in my suburb or my town.
Something small.
Yeah, exactly, yeah, whatever it is. But the thing is, local government, any level of government, relies on people coming to tell us about those things, because we don't know all the pavers that are falling out of place, and we also don't know some of the issues that many of the people in our community are facing unless they tell us. So you might be surprised how easy it is to get in touch with your local government representatives. You can write an email to your councillors. You might be able to find the mobile number to your mayor if you have a look on your council's website. Mm-hmm. You can go to a council meeting and do something called a deputation, which is where you speak in front of the chamber. And when you're there talking to elected members, you'll realise how you put them under a bit of pressure in order to actually make some change right there in front of you. And if you do that, we will listen. I can guarantee that your council will listen to you and they'll make the best decision that they can.
See, that's really interesting. You just said, we will listen. And that's such a good attitude to have.
I think so. I think, Malcolm, you, when you're a representative of your community, you need to listen to all the points of view, and then you don't have to agree with them all personally, but you do have to listen and then come to the conclusion that's best for your community.
Because the key to the answer or the success is probably hidden within all of that.
Absolutely.
Listen, so much is hidden within you. I look forward to watching your future, where you go, what you do. Good luck with the day job. Good luck with the councillor's job, whatever.
Thank you.
And I hope we can talk again.
I hope so too. Thanks, Malcolm.
And thank you very much for being with us in this episode of Ad Time. So until next time, we hope you've learned something from Ethan. Keep yourself nice to them.